welcome to the third episode of Punarmilan, an SDMIMD Alumni Podcast series, where we bring you an inspiring conversation with our alumni who has gone out and made a remarkable impact in the corporate world. I'm your host Sanjay KB, and this is Abhishek, and we are truly excited to continue this journey of learning with our esteemed guest, Mr. Sahil Sinha, an SDMIMD alumnus from batch of 2011-13. Sahil Sinha is the co-founder of Stride Solutions, where he drives innovation and business growth through technology. With a strong background in product management and startups, he combines entrepreneurial vision with practical expertise. Sahil's leadership focuses on creating value-driven solutions for our emerging markets. His experience includes founding multiple ventures and scaling products that make a real impact. Welcome back to SDMIMD, sir. We are thrilled to have you as our guest and on this podcast and to know your story.
Sir, so to begin with, so what inspired you to come up with the idea of Stride Solutions, and what's the vision of Stride Solutions?
So there've been instances where I was working with organizations, and I was always on a front where I was facing clients. So I saw there are a lot of problems which can be solved easily, but because of the corporate environment and all sort of set rules, the problems are somewhere not addressed properly. So I saw there is a gap wherein if we understand what your customer needs, what exactly is the problem, and then we solve it instead of giving them a standard solution which is available in books. So I thought that's the time where I should gear up and get up into the market and solve this problem. Yeah.
Sir, can you share key learnings from your role in global marketing and commercial services?
So that was a good, stint wherein coming from a mindset, because I've never, my generations have not done business. So entrepreneurship was something which was good in books for me. So I was into a corporate world, not knowing how finance works in the marketing, how HR works. I was taking care of sales and marketing itself. While working with GMCSU, which is global marketing, I got an exposure of, initially I was handling the business. So I got an exposure of handling people, handling finances, wherein I was taking care of the complete business unit as I was taking care of their complete P&L. Then I understood how a business runs. So that probably was the point where my entrepreneurship ignited, and then I thought that probably I'll be able to run businesses. So that's how it started from there.
Sir, and in the current scenario where the brands or the companies, what they're doing is they're coming up with their own best product, which they think is the best for the customers, but they're not addressing the customer needs. So that wonderful story or illustration which you gave there, the way the guests come and the food we serve. So can you please share that story, sir? It was really good for us to understand.
So we have been told that what standard has to be focused. I might be also in the same boat. I'm not saying that I'm 100% against that, but not every time what's standard is right. So this example is wherein you call people at your home and you serve them what you are good at. Maybe they like it or not, or probably you'll modify. You want spicy, okay, I'll put more chili. You want normal, I'll remove or avoid chili. But we never ask them what they want to eat, or maybe we'll ask some of the friends, but again, normally our tendencies, we prepare what's best for them. So the same thing happens in corporate world, wherein we feel that our product is super and it is well suited for a set audience, because we think as a consumer initially. Every startup is started with a thought that there is a gap, there is a problem, because we have faced it or probably we have seen it somewhere. So same thing, when we are creating a product, it's like a baby, and nobody wants to point out errors or shortcomings or shortfalls in our babies itself. So similar to that, so we have to understand what the customer wants. If you're creating something, you're solving a problem, that's good. But again, what modification it needs to make sure it fulfills the requirement. Also, probably something which you have created unknowingly, you don't know how audience is going to respond. You should take feedback from them, what changes we can bring to make it more effective and more acceptable. That's what I mentioned.
We really liked that story, so
Thank you.
So then what are the challenges you have faced while transitioning from corporate roles to being a co-founder?
See, corporate roles have two specific things. One, you have your standard KRA, key responsibility areas, that you have to fulfill this, you get your salary at the end of the month and you're free. When you come to corporate, it's not only limited to that. Your KRA changes overnight because you're handling a complete system. Initially, when you set up, you have less people, probably one person for every department. One person leaves the job, you'll have to do it. So you'll have to get down, make your hands dirty, and make sure that things are done at any cost. Because if that stops, your customers will face issues, and ultimately, what values you have started with will not be fulfilled or will not be served. So, in job, definitely people are working. They have set of tasks to do, but at least they have surety on what they are supposed to do until they change their role or probably change the complete industry itself. In entrepreneurship, every day is a surprise. Good surprise, because one negative thing is also there. Why I also moved from corporate to entrepreneurship, because corporate is wherein you put your efforts and you cannot expect exact returns of those investment in terms of time, energy, knowledge which you are putting. In business, on the other way, most of the times, whatever efforts, knowledge, energy you put, chances are that you get not monetary itself, but non-monetary as well. Wherein, talking about the benefits you get in terms of probably adding customers, the confidence you gain is much different. I mean, in corporate, you are working somewhere, working hard to achieve a goal, and maybe some other person comes and takes a credit. So that's quite common. Nobody speaks about it, but that's quite common. But in business, it's good or bad. It's your work which has brought it to that particular phase. There is nobody else to be blamed. Both have pros and cons.
And sir, in current scenario where we can see before even we change the strategy, the technology is changing. So how do you tackle with that? So in the changing technology.
See, technology is changing definitely, but there is always a resistance to change as well, because there are set systems. Even if the technology is changing, it takes time to adapt that. So as soon as the technology changes, we try to make sure that we learn that, the pros and cons, and communicate the same to the customer. And since we have built that relationship with the customer, wherein we have been giving suggestions which are working for them, they wait for our understanding and then make changes. So we have to be geared up first. I'm talking from a marketing agency perspective, but as a entrepreneur, talking about my company itself, it's always important to make sure that whatever changes are happening, we should be aware of it and make sure we try it once. Like I was speaking about AI tools. So all the major tools, at least once we'll have to try and see if it is working or not for us. Maybe something will work or something might not, but again we'll have to try and see.
Sir, and you said KRA changes once you become a co-founder and everything. So how do you handle your work-life balance? Like what?
So again, this is again a beauty wherein a person who is disciplined in life, who has to make sure that weekends are for family and weekdays are for work, are not fit for being an entrepreneur. So sometimes it's there when you have to work 20-25 days continuously without getting a holiday or leave and all. But if you go for a holiday, you'll be at peace. You'll not have to answer a manager that I have to do this anyhow. Even your launch is pending or whatever it is. Even if your customer is going or whatever it is. So again, pros and cons. Pros, wherein you get time with your family for a longer time. So definitely your company should be in good shape. But cons, yes, you'll have to work sometimes over the weekends as well, or probably extend your working hours. But again, the relief is that whatever effort you're going to put, the results will be visible. Unlike working 16-17 hours in a corporate world.
Yes.
You're not sure you'll be getting that kind of increment, or probably you crack a deal, you'll be getting that kind of incentives.
Even our Hegadeji, when we had been to our induction, he said management is self-management.
And again, in entrepreneurship, it's again your cushion. However you want to stretch. There are organizations, I know personally people who are working single-handedly. They are earning enough. That's their benchmark, their definition of success. Some people are multi-million, crores owners. So their definition of success is different. So again, here you get a freedom. How more you want to stretch. Some people are working across the clock. So their goal is to make sure that they make huge amount of money. So again, depends.
Sir, one advice or what are the 2 or 3 qualities which you look in an MBA graduate who is going to join your company or firm, which you cannot compromise on? So what are those 3 qualities you...
See, the first quality, as I mentioned there as well, I want that person to be informed. The person should be knowledgeable. I mean, if he's applying for a marketing role, he should know what kind of, not only he should know what Kotler says, but he should also know what segment I am into, who are my competitors, and what am I doing in marketing. So there are a lot of, I've been both side of interviews, and I've seen a lot of interviewers getting offended in case I say, sir, your company has this issue. But more of them are accepting it because they believe that you have studied about this. And I have tried being on the interviewee side as well, applicant side as well, that whenever I talk about their brand, any shortfall which is there, they accept it and they value it. So that is something which is my first point. Second is, as I said, he should be a problem solver. So that probably I can give that person a scenario and ask him what he will do, and that will demonstrate his problem solving skills. And apart from that, I took one point from Surbi as well, when she said the person should be flexible and he should be a teamwork. So team player, anyhow, you cannot judge probably with scenarios. It again depends. If you are a team worker, other person is not a team worker, its team doesn't work. So that is something which might come later, but these 2 factors I believe are the major ones.
Sir, and there has been a talk that Gen Z employees are tough to employ and they are impatient. So have you experienced that in your company, and if yes, how did you tackle that?
Not to butter you guys, but trust me, I don't say they are impatient or they are confident. We didn't have guts to leave any job easily because that time, right now it's also not crisis, but it's difficult to get jobs. But you guys have multiple options. The people who are right now there are multiple options wherein I'm seeing entrepreneurs who have been influencers over their life and they're earning huge amount of money. I mean, everybody is working for money, right?
Yes.
So people have options. That's why they have become confident. But again, on the other hand, what we call values is something probably has come because we have been in that environment. They have just come out of college and joined our organization. They are not seeing that because we were seeing it all around, so we became like that. So I'll not blame them, that this is there. But again, if they have a habit of learning or probably accepting it from their mentors or probably their bosses in the organization, if they're not accepting it or not changing it with that, that's a problem. But there's definitely an opportunity wherein you can learn it from your managers and all. But I don't blame them. I say that they're more confident than us. We found it very difficult to switch jobs and put down papers. And their their self-confidence is better than probably a previous generation.
Sir, if you have to give one advice to our viewers, what would that be?
First advice will be, please follow them. They are doing amazing job, and keep watching because I believe that the college has produced good amount of insightful individuals who are doing wonders in their journey, and you'll get different perspectives. And these guys are asking amazing questions. Maybe it will help the viewers in their journey as well.
So that brings us to the end of today's episode. A big thank you to our guest for sharing such valuable insights and experiences with us. So it has been a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
you.